Have you ever wondered how an AI can look at a total mess of data and, almost like magic, sort it into these perfectly neat groups? Well, it's not magic. It's actually a really powerful technique that's working all around us every single day. And in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how it all works.
Okay, just think about the last time you had to pick teams for, I don't know, a board game, a sport, anything. You weren't just randomly pointing at people, right? You were probably making little calculations in your head, trying to make the teams fair. Well, that same gut feeling, that same intuitive process is what we're about to see an AI do, but with data.
Yeah, whether you're trying to balance skills for a project or just picking teams for trivia night, you're instinctively creating groups. And believe it or not, that is pretty much exactly what a really important AI algorithm does, just with data points instead of your friends. All right, so this method has a name. It's called k-means clustering. Sounds a little technical, but it's the AI's secret recipe for finding hidden patterns in all sorts of data. And we're about to break down exactly how it works step by step.
So what is k-means really? At its heart, it's a way to automatically sort data into a number of groups or clusters that you choose beforehand. Now, the key word there is automatically. This is what we call unsupervised learning, which is just a fancy way of saying we don't give the AI the answers. We just give it the messy data and say, go find the patterns. And it does it all by itself. Pretty cool, right?
The name, k-means, actually gives you the whole game plan. K is just the number of groups you want. That's it. If you want 3 groups, K is 3. If you want 10, K is 10. Simple. And means, well, that just refers to the average or the center point of each group. And we're going to see exactly why that's so important in just a second.
So how does this AI recipe actually work? You might be surprised by how simple and, honestly, how clever the process is. Let's break it down.
First off, I want you to just picture a big white page with a bunch of dots scattered all over it. Right now, they're just a random, unorganized mess. These dots could be anything in the real world: customers, products, houses, but for now, they're just our data. The whole thing really boils down to these 5 steps. We pick how many groups we want. The AI plops down some random starting points. Then it just goes into a simple loop. Assign all the dots to a team, move the team center, and then just repeat until the groups don't change anymore. Let's actually watch it happen. Okay, so let's say we want to find 2 groups. That means our K is 2. The algorithm kicks things off by just randomly dropping 2 center points. We call them centroids, somewhere on the page. Think of these like 2 team captains chosen at random before the game even starts. Now for the simple part. Every single dot on the page measures its distance to those 2 random centroids, and each dot joins the team of whichever centroid it's closest to. And bam, just like that, we have our first version of the 2 groups. It's a start. But here's where the real magic happens. Remember, those first centroids were just wild guesses. So now that they have their teams, the algorithm recalculates the actual center of each group. You know, the average position of all the dots. Then it moves the centroid right to that new middle spot. And that's it. That's the means in k-means. And then it just does it all over again. See, because the center's moved, some of the dots on the edge might now be closer to the other team's center. So we reassign all the dots. Then we move the centers again to the new middle. And this loop just keeps going. Assign, move, until no dots switch teams. Once everything stops changing, the groups are locked in, and the job is done. Okay, so that's the theory. It's cool to see how it sorts dots on a page. But who really cares about dots, right? So let's talk about how this simple little recipe translates into some seriously valuable insights in the real world. So imagine a big online store. They've got tons of data on all their customers: age, how much they spend, how often they visit the website. Right now, it's just a giant, messy spreadsheet. This is their collection of scattered dots, and they want to find the natural groups hiding inside. So they set K to, say, 3, and they let the algorithm run. And what comes out is amazing. Suddenly, they can see these really clear customer segments. Instead of blasting everyone with the same generic marketing email, they can now talk to the young high spenders completely differently than they talk to the older low spenders. And that is powerful stuff. And listen, this isn't just a textbook idea. The big players, I'm talking Amazon, Google, Microsoft, they use these kinds of techniques all the time. You know when you see customers who bought this also bought? That is very often the result of an algorithm like k-means, finding a group of people, a cluster, who have tastes just like you. Now, k-means is an absolutely fantastic tool, but like any tool, it's not the right one for every single job. To really get it, we need to look at both what it does incredibly well and, where it kind of struggles. So, its biggest strengths, it's simple to understand, and it is crazy fast, even with huge amounts of data. But it's got some catches. The biggest one is you have to decide the number of groups, K, ahead of time, which can be tricky. It also has a hard time with groups that aren't nice, roundish shapes. And it can get really thrown off by outliers, those 1 or 2 data points that are way off on their own.
But this story doesn't end there. The field is always moving forward. Researchers are coming up with smarter ways to help us pick the best K, taking out the guesswork. They're building bigger, better versions that can handle millions and millions of data points. And maybe the coolest thing, they're combining it with deep learning to do something called deep clustering on really complex things like images and text.
So, if you forget everything else we talked about, just try to remember this one simple sentence. K-means is just about grouping similar points around center points. That's the whole idea, right there in a nutshell.
And that really brings us to the final big idea here. This simple, elegant algorithm lets us find order in what looks like chaos. It lets us see these hidden connections in everything from shopping habits to our own DNA. And as these tools get even better, you just have to wonder, what incredible discoveries are waiting for us just around the corner?